good afternoon, morning. I don't know what it is, where you are. Okay, I am going to just quickly give you the instructions for the digital version of the nitrogen cycle game in case you were absent for the actual class. All right. So here we are on Schoology. Let me just back up a little bit so that you can see where we're at. So this is what we did in class on Wednesday, October 26th. So I'm actually in the absent folder right now. And here's your little to-do list. So I'm making this video right now, but it is going to be right here where it says coming soon. Okay, so when you are sitting down to do the nitrogen cycle game, if you missed it in class or if you need to make it up for some reason, you're going to just open this student handout here. You're going to make a copy. You're going to take away copy of and put your name. And then you are going to move it to your 22-23 school year biology folder so that we can always find it if it's lost. Okay. So you're going to do a digital version here because you missed class. So you can just fill this right out online if you want. Sorry. Hold on. We're going to. Sorry. I should have done this beforehand. So you can just fill it out online. If you prefer to use paper, you can print it out if you have access to a printer, and you can do it that way. So you're going to just type your name here. All this stuff is going to come out purple just so I can see what you've contributed, and type your date here. So you are going to play the part of a nitrogen atom here so that we can learn a little bit about the nitrogen cycle. You're going to travel through the nitrogen cycle, stopping in many exciting locations, some of which you've probably never been to before. So you're pretending that you're a tiny little atom and you're just going to travel through parts of the planet the way that actual nitrogen does. So I'm going to give you an example in a moment. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to choose a place where you would like to start. So I'm going to click on the stations folder and I am going to choose, I'm going to stick with what I had before and I'm going to start the ocean. So I'm just going to open the ocean page, go back to this, and it says write the name of that station in the starting point box. So here's the example up here. I'm just going to write ocean. Okay. Then you are going to do one of the following to determine, sorry, hold on, let me see if I can get a spotlight here. Oh, can I get fireworks? Oh, that's kind of fun. Sorry. Okay. You're going to choose the option of how you want to do this. So you can either, basically in class, we rolled die to determine where we were going to go as this nitrogen atom. But if you're at home and you don't have a die or dice from a game, then you can use a digital die. So you can open this video in another tab. So I'll just do that right now. And we're going to roll a die. So you just pause, keep playing. Got 4. All right. So I'm going to roll my die now. So let's say I'm going to stop now. I got a 5. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to this and I got a 5. So I'm going to go, oh my goodness, sorry, back to my ocean. Remember I said I started at the ocean and I rolled a 5. So it says if your die reads 4, 5, or 6, bacteria have transformed you into nitrogen gas and you are now a part of the atmosphere. So I'm going to go back to my handout and it says how I traveled. Bacteria, I forgot already, I have the worst memory. Bacteria transformed you into a nitrogen gas and now you're part of the atmosphere. Okay, so I'm going to try to change this to my own words a little bit. So I'm going to say bacteria changed me into nitrogen gas. And then it says you are now part of the atmosphere. So basically I was in the ocean and some bacteria took me from being a solid in the ocean and turned me into a gas, which bacteria are pretty cool. They can do stuff like that. So where I went was the atmosphere. So now the next step that you would do is you would go back to the station folder, and I would now go to the atmosphere. So I'm going to click on the atmosphere, and I'm just going to repeat the process. So I'm going to go back to my die, and I'm going to roll it, and stop. I got a 2. So go back here. If my die reads 1 or 2, lightning strikes, nitrogen gas is made into a solid and travels to the soil. Well, this is something really cool. Most of the air in our atmosphere is nitrogen. You'd think it was oxygen because that's what you hear the most about, but it's nitrogen. So when lightning strikes, there's enough energy in that can actually convert the gaseous nitrogen back into a solid. So you were just a solid in the ocean. You got turned into a gas, put in the atmosphere. Now you're a solid again, and you're going to go into the soil. So I'm going to go back to my paper, and I'm going to say lightning turned me back into a solid, and I ended up in the soil. So that's where I'm going next. So then you just repeat that process until you fill out this whole table. So you're going to pick a starting point. You're going to go from that starting point to next place. So 1 place, 2 place, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different places. So you're going to do that process like 9 times. The other option, if you don't want to use the video dice, is you can just grab a game die if you have one at your house and use it. And you can just roll a dice and see where you go. Okay, so you're going to complete the chart of your trip, including how you travel from each place and where you went next. Please make sure to read the information on the station PDF, and those are these things. These are all the station PDFs. And summarize your trip, putting into your own words as best as you can. You're going to repeat the process until you complete the entire table, because remember, this is a cycle. Until you complete the table. So just 9 trips, but it actually is a cycle. So you could play this forever and ever and ever and never stop. There you go. All right. So once you do that, you complete your assessment for this activity to assess your understanding. Is you're going to do one of the following things. You can make a diary entry from your perspective as a nitrogen atom, and you can describe your trip. It says here, get crafty. Don't just repeat what you wrote in your table. Or you can complete a comic strip detailing your trip. You can use speech or thought bubbles, or you can narrate it below the boxes. And I'm gonna take away the Cami, because you can either do it digitally or you can write it and just take a picture of it and submit that. And then there's one more option I forgot to type in before we did this. You can trace your path as a nitrogen atom on the image of the nitrogen cycle below. So I'm going to add that to the document. So that'll be there. And if you don't want to do a diary entry or comic strip, you can take that picture and kind of trace your trip as the nitrogen atom through that cycle. So you have to do one of those 3 things, and then you can go ahead and just submit this document on Schoology. So down below the table, you have a place to do a diary entry. So you can be like, dear diary, here I am floating around the ocean, and a bacteria sucked me in and converted me into a gas, and then spit me up into the atmosphere. And then I'm floating around in the atmosphere, and lightning struck, and I got plummeted down to the soil. See what I mean? So you're just going to describe your trip. And then instead, if you don't feel like doing that, you can do a comic strip where you just draw your little path through all the places. And then again, finally, I'll add a picture of the nitrogen cycle down here if you'd prefer to just trace your path through the cycle. All right. So I hope that helps and that's easy to understand. If it isn't, please get in touch with me or Ms. J, and we will help you out. Good luck.